Into the next studio that's right next door to us, and I have got three formidable people with me that we're going to talk to. As most of us know, and again, Ayanda reminding us, June is Youth Month here in South Africa, and this is the time when we honour the young people who fought valiantly against the injustices of apartheid back in 1976. But what about the youth of 2015? What are their struggles? What are their achievements, and what obstacles stand in their way? To discuss this further, we are joined by three young adults under the age of 30 who are active in the youth space in South Africa, and they are formidable, let me tell you that much. So let me introduce them to you one by one. Representing the men here, otherwise there'd be far too many women here on this panel. Mabutu Mthembu is the chairperson of the Youth Managers Foundation. So nice to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much.
With us as well is the beautiful Elabella. She's the founder of Generation Earth, who does such unbelievable stuff as well. Good to see you, Annabella. And finally, Nazia Wadi, who is a finalist of Miss Teen Commonwealth. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So, you know, we always talk about the youth, and somehow when we talk about the youth of today, it's almost like you say, you know, the youth, we feel so sorry for them because there is just so many issues that are affecting the youth. But there are three of you that are sitting here that are blowing the lights out at what you're doing. And that's so amazing. What drives you? I mean, what is it that is making you want to be a better person and strive for so much?
I think in my perspective, it's obviously looking holistically at the country, like for instance, South Africa, and the opportunities that it presents to us. And also, obviously, with a sense that you also want to make a profound contribution in terms of, you know, developing the country and making a positive impact in driving positive changes within the country. So I think if you look at the country like South Africa in comparison, you know, to the rest of Africa, although the continent is at the stage where it is developing economically, but South Africa presents a lot of opportunities. And what drives me is to be able to tap into those opportunities and make a positive contribution in the country.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to talk about what you're doing in a short while, but I just want to get a glimpse from each one of you as to what drives you and how you feel the youth of South Africa are at this point in time. Elabella?
You know what it is that I gather passion and inspiration from the young people that I work with. So every day that we go out into the schools, the universities, through the organizations that we work with, you see that there is a passion, you see that there is dedication for young people to stand up and fight for their future. And I think the majority, I feel young people do have that passion and that dedication, but there is a big group of young people that feel as devalued in society. They don't feel as though the opportunities are out there for them. I feel that they're struggling because of unemployment, and the statistics are huge in Africa and in South Africa as well. And yet you go out and you work with these young people and you give them opportunities, you give them certain platforms to extend their ideas, extend their opinions and thought discussions, and you give them that platform and they surprise you with that energy that they do actually have. And young people have an ability to see past limits, and I want to see more young people seeing past those limits and saying, you know what, the future is mine to grab hold of.
Yeah, it's seeing through the limitations, because that is the reality, because there are so many limitations, which we're going to get into in a short while. But let me pose the same question to you, Nazia. Talk to me about your views.
I'm someone who's very passionate about social issues, and I believe that what drives me is seeing the changes that you're making in your community. So seeing these kids strive for better things. I work closely with Mabutu in the Youth Managers Foundation, and I work at the Eldorado Park High School. And what drives me is the greed and that sort of craving for more, or that craving for success that you see in these young people, that they want more, they want change for their communities. And I feel that the way, or my impact in that school, is what drives me in my journey.
In your journey. All right. Mabutu, let's talk about you now and what you're doing. You've actually been selected to attend President Barack Obama's Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. I mean, that is a huge accolade, and it's absolutely amazing. So well done to you. But you're going to go there and through the youth managers, and you're going to have a major platform that not many of us are given the opportunity to have. What are the issues that you're going to highlight that the youth here in South Africa struggle with?
I think there's a number of issues, and I think Youth Managers focuses on developing, young leaders at high schools and, through mentorship, leadership development and so forth. And that is because we profoundly believe in, the human capital that Africa is endowed with. I mean, Africa is a young continent. We've got, the majority of the population in Africa is young. So that is the greatest resource that I think we have as a continent. But the challenge is that, are we putting, adequate investments in terms of developing that resource that we have to be able to drive, the economic changes and deal with the social issues and so forth? I think there's a lot of issues, obviously, that will be debated and discussed with other like-minded young people in America. But for me, the most important one, obviously, is the issue of unemployment.
Yeah.
The youth is affected by unemployment, I think, across the continent. And that presents opportunities, it presents threats as well, because if it's not dealt with, then you're sitting with a large number of people that are unemployed, that are not economically participating, and so forth in the economy. So I think those are one of the issues that will be debated in America, but also looking at Africa, for instance. It's a frontier now in terms of economic growth and so forth globally. So, one of the issues is that how can we get the youth to be more involved, in terms of bringing out with great ideas into the economy that will thrive, that will be globally competitive and so forth. So those for me are critical issues, because you've got the youth that now wants to be active economically.
Yeah.
That is bringing out ideas, that wants to be entrepreneurs. But are we providing the right platform as the continent to those youth to support them so that they can, so that those ideas can thrive globally and so forth, and obviously impact in terms of dealing with the unemployment issue that we have in the continent.
Yeah. All right, so unemployment is, for you, the top agenda that we need to when it comes to helping the youth here in South Africa, and that's our struggle of 2015.
Correct.
For you, that tops the agenda. Elabella, you describe yourself as a change agent. However, you've had to overcome a lot in your life in order to get to this point. What is that? What is it? What have you worked through in order to get to where you are, that perhaps is a great example to others out there?
You know what, I think every person has a story to tell. Every person has their own struggles, and for me it was not necessarily knowing what to do and what career path to take on. And I want to resonate what you're saying is that, it's so important that we give the platform to young people to bounce off of. But we need to start early on. We need to start when they're in high school or even primary school, and share with them the opportunities and possibilities that lie within the careers that they may be wanting to pursue. And I think I've got a very effervescent kind of energy that just wanted to do so many different things. And then when I had the opportunity to finish matric and go to university, my family lost their business. And so we were financially strapped. We didn't know if I would be able to even go to university. And I think that's when I applied for bursaries anywhere, everywhere. Yeah. And I was actually given a bursary by the government to go and study education. And the other part of the bursary, my sister actually funded me right throughout my studies. And, it was that relationship that she always wanted me to have, because she actually studied law.
Yeah.
For the first year, and she was kicked out because lack of funds. And it's something that we've both had at the back of our minds, thinking we can't go back to that, and we needed to start our own business. We needed to take up the opportunities and say, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it for our family. We have to put myself through university, put our brother through school, and we did it. And we did it with the help of my mom. And then slowly but surely we kind of realized, our dad was actually ill, and that is why we landed up in the financial issues that we did. And he's deteriorated so much in the last few years, but you've got to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I can do this. Yeah. I've got to push forward. I've got to look at the blessings and the talent. I think you were trying to speak about talent, and we do have a lot of talent, and each individual is blessed with something. It's about going out and making that thing happen. It's about being proactive as opposed to reactive. There's challenges, there's struggles that people face, and I think they are very much reactive as opposed to saying, you know what, how am I going to get past this? How am I going to, react, but in a positive way?
Yeah.
to get out of the situation that I'm in. And we don't look at problems, we need to look at them as challenges and say, you know what, I've got strengths and I need to push forward. And we have, as my sister and I, we run the Miss Earth South Africa organization, we run Generation Earth, and part of the United Nations Environmental Program. And we do this because we have a passion for young people, for women, and it's so important that we find the ways in which we strengthen each other in business, and you just keep pushing on.
It's amazing. I think today really the message that we're giving out here to the youth is that I know that there are challenges, we all know that, and I'm gathering that from everybody that we're talking to, but it's how you get over them that makes you the person that you are today. We're going to continue talking. I'm going to speak to Nazir in a short while as well. Let's take a very quick break and you'll be back with us after this. Stay tuned.